Drawing on multiple old poems and sagas, Poul Anderson crafted a historical fantasy novel retelling the lineage, life, and death of a 6th century Danish king. While focused primarily on the reign of Hrolf, it wouldn't be a saga without at least 3 generations of misfortune. Much of the novel's early going is concerned with the actions of Hrolf's grandfather, great-uncle, father, and uncle, and there is plenty of fratricide, hiding, secret identities, revenge, pillaging, witchcraft, and Viking shenanigans. Some of the events of Beowulf even take place in the background. Eventually, Hrolf works to unite the Danes into a single kingdom where there is wealth, security, and a measure of justice, while he also settles familial grudges against the sorceress king of the Swedes. In doing so, Hrolf gathers a number of mighty companions in his service who have their own adventures. This age of greatness comes to an end, however, by the sorcery and scheming of Skjold, the half-elvish half-sister of Hrolf, who wants to rule the Danes through Hjorvard, her weak-willed husband. A titanic battle ensues, from which there are few survivors and ultimately no real victors, as the kingdom disintegrates back into warring petty tribes, with only the memory of a greater age to guide them. Anderson does a commendable job in taking many disparate stories and fragments and turning them into a fantasy novel. Often he sticks close to the style and mood of the ancient sources, so there may be a bit more telling as opposed to showing than some contemporary readers might prefer. The episodic and sometimes meandering structure can also give the novel an unfocused feeling. The titular character does not appear until nearly halfway through the story, and even then, he disappears from the novel for stretches at a time as the narrative focuses on the adventures of his chief men. This structure can be a bit frustrating for the reader, but it may help to consider Hrolf Kraki's saga as being like a Danish King Arthur. Just as much as the legends of King Arthur is cobbled together from stories concerning him and the Knights of the Round Table, so too is Hrolf Kraki's saga seen as a collection of tales about a visionary king of Denmark and the mythic tales of his closest warriors. There is also the shared detail in that both kings have a sorceress half-sister who is instrumental in their downfall. I suspect the framing device where a Dane comes to the court of the English King Ethelstan and relates the saga to him implies that elements from Hrolf Kraki's saga could have then been integrated into Arthurian legend. Unlike stories about King Arthur, this novel follows much closer to the concepts about fate found in the belief of the Danes and other Scandinavians. Odin appears more than once, and often characters talk about their weird or the fate that has been set out for them by greater powers. While this cosmological setup seems accurate within the story, Anderson also leaves room for the reader to question whether fate is to blame or the active choices of the characters. For example, no one forces Helgi to behave as he does. He is impulsive and destructive all on his own, with his actions having far-reaching consequences for himself and others. Thematically, we can also see the point Anderson is trying to make about the frailty of civilization. While there are forces much larger than humans that can cause catastrophe, be they natural or supernatural, we see that just as often, if not more so, the hard work of intelligent and patient people to build and maintain a civilized society is undone by the choices of passionate and violent men and women. It turns out that chaos and entropy are forces that exist within people too, and without wisdom and vigilance, everything that humans make can be ruined by people just as easily as by earthquakes or troll attacks. While it is a solid effort, I think Hrolf Kraki's saga lacks the dynamism and mythic quality of The Broken Sword. That novel leans much more into what Robert E. Howard calls gigantic melancholies and gigantic mirth, along with the more prevalent magical aspects. While Hrolf Kraki's saga has similar events, they can feel toned down. Mileage will vary for either technique depending on the reader, but The Broken Sword felt more active and more urgent across its pages. But what do you, the audience at home, think? Is Hrolf Kraki's saga one of Poul Anderson's hidden gems? Are you glad he did the work to present the various bits of this saga as a coherent whole? Do you think he was hemmed in by the source material? Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments. Up next in the Box of Paperbacks is A Bell for Adano by John Hersey. Set in Sicily toward the end of World War II, it is a novel concerning an American military officer trying to rebuild a town as the fascists are defeated and people wonder what their lives will look like in the aftermath of the war. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my peculiar notions. If you appreciate this channel and want to support it, you know what to do. You can also take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel of another YouTube creator you enjoy. Until next time, read some good books. Live and be well.